As we go into May, this is would be the April video. As you know, I'm running a little bit behind because of real life, but I did actually celebrate the Spectrum's official birthday on the 23rd, either side of it for a week. I put up a pop-up museum in work on the desk, just so everyone could have a little look at some of the memorabilia for that. And I set up a Next, obviously, to show it having some programming. So you know, it did. I did celebrate. It was quite a long celebration. So there we go. I also wanted to wait to say happy birthday to the Spectrum for its 40th, because I was going to the Spectrum 40th event in Walsall and taking along a stand with some memorabilia for back in the day, and flying a flag for the Next, of course, taking my Next along with some of the traditional peripherals like the micro drive, and it was a really nice chance to meet up with old friends and make new ones, and meet some virtual people in real life. And a great day was had by all, I think, and quite a lot of beer was drunk in the evening. May even be some snaps and shots later. If there's any singing, you might have to hum along to the tune, because avoiding the copyright strikes. But it was also a great chance for me to meet a personal idol from back in the day, Sandy White. A chance to ask him some questions, and a nice chat with him, being a fellow SCMP enthusiast. Did manage to catch a little bit of the recording of his talk. Don't know what the audio is going to be like. We'll try and pick out some of it. The others, I'm afraid I didn't. It was just so busy on the stand for the day, and I know Lee was very disappointed that he wasn't able to get recordings. So I have to say thanks to Neil Spectrum Nez on Twitter for sharing his shots and little short clips of videos. I was really good with him. Quite a good extensive bit of coverage from Ben at Bite to Light. So for those of you who don't know much about the event, there were quite a few guest speakers through the day. Obviously I was there. This is what it's about. The Oliver twins were there with a two-part talk, a little bit about their new product. I was lucky enough to get a chance to talk to most of them throughout the day and the evening. Evan Toms, I had a good chat with him in the evening. Very lovely bloke. So you would have had a chance to see most of these. Sean was obviously really upset he couldn't make it for personal reasons, but that's why I got a copy of his book on behind me. Obviously I've had it for a while and thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I recommend it to you, and they were for sale on the day. I had a really nice chat with Mev, and bought a copy of his book and got him to sign it for me. It was really good. And as I said, chat with Sandy. And of course, where would we be without Mark? Say, hey, 16k to set it all off.
Oh, hey, 16k. What does that get you today?
I did miss the John Hare talk completely, I'm afraid, but the timing was definitely varied. It really was. It was a good day.
Mainly in a team, so it's just...
Here comes a bit of a video log of my trip to Spectrum 40 in Walsall. We've checked the tyres, they're safe, car's back. Time to set off from sunny Ballybados. And that was the Hoover not working, so everything's got dog's ears on it, never mind. Got a book full of goodies now, so we'll show you what they are when you get there. Phew, that was a bit of a drive. It took me all the way through the Walsall to save me a couple of minutes off the motorway. Never mind. Well, here we go. Finally in the hotel room. Got my Spectrum bag. I think what I've forgotten though is the HDMI cable for the TV, so I'll be able to use the Next when I'm messing around. Never mind. Time clean inside your room. So getting ready. Let's have a bit of grub and a good night's kip hopefully, and well, perhaps a few beers. And then we'll be ready and set for tomorrow. Well, I've set up my Next in the room, something to do what I made, because I didn't bring a laptop with me. So let's have a play and see what we got, hey? Notice the Gilsoft badge. That's a nice one for tomorrow to wear. Well, there we go then, settled into the room. See the last light of the sun. Cracking. Motorway view though. So there I am drinking my beer, and of course Neil had spotted my tweet about the car being loaded up and asked, said he was looking forward to coming, and of course he saw my tweet with the beer, and he was still there. Now obviously he recognised where I was. So sometimes leaking your location in real life has a benefit. And well, thanks Neil, brought me a drink, and he brought me a great present as well. I'm really, really impressed. It's one of the pickups I've got on the back of the camera here. Is the cracking little tape of blocks, which, if you don't know, he did the music for. So, and I'll put the link into the well, you can see it here on the HEIO one. I'll put the link into the notes, and thanks Neil, that's really good. It was good to see him the next day as well with his definitely cool ZX Spectrum t-shirt. So here we go. But be careful how much you give away about where you are, guys. Not everyone's going to buy you a beer. I had a really nice white baked starter in the restaurant. While I was waiting for my main course of a burger, I spied this little guy out the window. I had a reasonably early night because I knew it was going to be a long day, and got up early in the morning, put the stuff in the car ready to go. Now we'll start off. I think we'll do a driving video together, shall we? I've never done a driving video, so excuse the poor thing, and it isn't very far. That's why you didn't get one on the way up.
Waiting for pairing. Paired.
Okay, so we've arrived. Let's see what's there. Luckily, I'd met Mike Me at breakfast, who was going to originally help Sean, and he very helpfully pointed out that I was actually outside the wrong part of the stadium, and hopped in a car with me, and we went round the side gate and I said power on the back, which is actually further away than where we were if we'd known, and he helped me lug all the gear there. Well, it never would have been possible to set all this up without Mike. Thank goodness he was here, because look at what we had to carry up. All of this. Oh my goodness. But there we had it set up. Right next to our stand was Jason, who had some interesting custom machines with him. I didn't catch a photo of the other one, unfortunately, but this one was particularly popular all day. The Nashman Party. You might think, oh, another ghost, well-known clone of a machine, but if you notice, there's a bit of a difference here. There's two, apparently, instances of it, and it's very cleverly wired up. It's a single ZX Spectrum plus 2, and I love the hats. These were brilliant, weren't they, with all the different pictures on them.
And what? Oh right. Oh yes, of course. Like power pills.
Like normal Pac-Man, actually.
Yeah.
Except
Just from the
you
outside.
can control the ghost.
I think what's really clever is the ghosts have got the fog of war, so you can't see much beyond where you are, but the player can see everything. That is so clever.
That is brilliant. And I'm trying to work out how 4 joysticks are plugged into the Spectrum.
He's hacked one of the Kempston joystick ports on the back to be at a different address.
Rather than 31.
Yeah, the next does the same. It's got a 55 port as well, so you've got 2 different Kempston ports, but you've got to know the other one is on 55.
55. And how is it driving 2 screens?
That's the VGA connector, and he's hacked it a little bit so it can see the 128K's alternate screen.
Alternate screen.
Yeah, so you basically one's watching the alternate screen RAM and one's watching the real screen RAM. Very clever, very clever.
Brilliant.
He did talk to Ben about it because it uses the ZX VGA Joy and Hack Kempston interface. About now, Sandy White was due to be on stage, and I unfortunately wasn't there to see the start of it, but I did capture some footage later from a bit of a distance looking on the corner after I'd finished tending the stand. Luckily, Neil's captured some footage at the start of the questions, and I'll try and restore what I can of the footage perhaps later in this video or another one if we haven't got enough time.
Vertex lined up, and suddenly there was the Anti-Tax City appearing randomly in front of my eyes, although I didn't know that's what it would eventually become. So there was no plan to write a game, and like during this period of rapid development of the technology, I mean, I realise now looking back that Sinclair pretty did one a year. So the Mark 14, if you like, was the ZX79. Year after that, the ZX80. Year after that, ZX81. Year after that, ZX82, which was the Spectrum, really. So I started on the ZX79, which had no graphics, and during those 3 rapid years of development, I was at art college. To do anything decent, you've got to be writing in assembly language, which I'd been doing for the Mark 14 anyway. And by that time, I had an EEPROM emulator for writing, making embedded hardware. So that my first thought was, okay, I've got to be able to write Spectrum games that way. If I'm going to do it at all, I'm not going to be writing in BASIC. So I built the hardware to map an EEPROM emulator into the Spectrum memory map, and then just hit the road running assembly language without having to touch the Spectrum. So my first port was the Atom software that wrote the cubes, and the first game I wrote was called Superman, because I'd just seen Superman the movie, and I had this city, and the first sprite they ever had a little cake and flew over to the city, and that was my first thought about writing a game. Does that answer the question?
So yeah, but on the Spectrum you wrote 3 games. It was Anti-Attack, Zombie, and Eye of the Mess. So 3D is simply your thing.
Yeah, I think better in 3D than I do in 2D. When I was at art college, I was hopeless at painting. It's too flat. So I sort of just was attracted to the sculpture department and find it easier to do stuff in 3D. So I didn't even cross my mind to try and do something flat on the Spectrum. It had to be something 3-dimensional.
Why did you stop?
I haven't really. Well, in what sense do you mean stop?
I mean, stop to release games.
I think the business changed. When I started, there was no games industry really. It was a cottage industry. People were developing stuff. Literally, it was bedroom coding, and cassettes were still being duplicated on kitchen tables. And what was the question? Why did I stop? And it suited me in the same, because it was like being an artist. It was a solo pursuit really, I was still thinking small. Games so rapidly became such big enterprises that you couldn't really compete as somebody else. I mean, there are some very clever people who did, obviously, but I did try, but you can see my energies tapering out by the time I got to Eye of the Mask. It was just too much content needed to go in to make a compelling game, and it was beyond me, and I never made the transition to team working, I think. So that's all that happened. But I hadn't stopped coding. And also, the platforms changed, and I did try. I started writing for the Commodore Amiga, which I absolutely loved. It was fantastic platform to run for. But again, you know, my interest was in the technical aspects, you know, really pushing the hardware is really what turned me on. You know, the Spectrum, you know, when I was doing Eye of the Mask, you know, at the time it really was pushing what you could do in terms of, you know, rendering filled polygons. But the fact that game was knowledge, because that's all something that hardware is going to do for you.
So it sounds like a little bit like the demo scene, or also on the Spectrum, because they are always interested in the technical aspect.
They're carrying that torch, aren't they?
Yes. Okay, and so what did you do the last 38 years?
Wow, is it that long? Yeah, I've done about almost everything you can imagine, but never been far away from, you know, thinking of it as a material for making things that move. You know, I did embedded software audio controllers for theme park animatronics for 15 years. And always in the back of my mind is like, eventually I'm going to get back to making sculpture, and you know, one day I'll have an exhibition, and all these fantasies that you tell yourself, you know, while you're trying to make a living. So I'm still thinking that I'll do that. You know, and I played with VR recently, and thought, oh my God, you don't actually have to make things with nuts and bolts anymore. So what a fantastic playground to be in. And so I think that's, if I ever find myself with some time to do something just for me, then it'll be in VR. And hopefully the platform itself will become more friendly, you know. Will make you build after, you know where you know. So there's no doubt, you know, with things like Meta coming, you know, I imagine in 4 years we'll be wearing something that looks like a pair of glasses, and I'll be making sculpture, you know, that a virtual gallery or something, just for fun.
Yeah, your games really seemed ahead its time. So now it seems really nowadays maybe the hardware is there for your projects to make what's your idea. So we're really looking forward to see something from you.
When you say hardware, are you thinking of all the the new versions of the Spectrum and things like that?
Of course, I'm only talking about the Spectrum.
I should stick to the topic. Yeah, I mean, I'm an unashamed nostalgist. I mean, I still love my old machines, and I've been recreating all the, you know, I've kept a lot of stuff from the past. I mean, I've got all my Spectrum kit still, and it's sort of slowly decayed. But I'm reacquiring all my original TVs and monitors, because there are pictures from the period. And you know, I've obtained that cheap black and white TV set that you used to plug into my Spectrum when it was at the time, and you know, I feel very fond of those days now, and more fond as the years go past. So I'm reconstructing it. Goodness knows why, really, but yeah, they were very good days. And very, very strong feelings for me when I look back on all the games. You know, there was a time of great change. You know, it was as though aliens had landed and handed us this amazing new toy. You know, here you are, you've got silicon with millions of transistors on it. You know, and the current, as we know, went shooting up. And you know, I was there when the aliens arrived and going, what can we do with this? And I had those same feelings of wonderment and excitement still hit me when I look at the old hardware, you know. And you know, you know, when I look at Antitype, when I look at the city, I can remember where I was and what I was doing, which movie was on TV when that particular building or whatever it is that I'm looking at. You know, it brings that back to me. So, I mean, it's the main reason I'm here today is that I love this stuff. You know, I'm a living museum piece now here, so you know, I'm here to be prodded and inspected like you would. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? But, you know,
I did rush off and try and get a tripod in a slightly better position for the point where the questioning went on about the next.
I think Spectrum Next is just a made platform for you because it gives you the possibility of more possibilities than maybe the Spectrum had in its former time. And you still have not the pressure from the software industry, like which was maybe the reason why you put out of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a funny one. I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like I've been there and done that. You know, and there was pain involved in writing these games. It was a struggle, I mean, a real struggle. And it doesn't, you know, I'm still a software developer, and everything's easy in terms of tools. And you know, if you want to make a game, you know, get Unity or some of the newer engines that I'm hearing about today. Because I don't want to go back and feel that pain. That's, you know. Perhaps if somebody showed me like this is how you do it now, Sandy. You know, if you want to write a game for a Spectrum emulator or clone, you know, you can do it in a nice IDE and in a higher level language. But you know, I don't want to revisit the pain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I hope that's not a disappointing answer. I still, you know, I get asked often enough, will there be an Antitype 2? And, you know, I'm quite happy to think in those terms. And, but not because I imagine there'd be an audience for it, but just for the curiosity of it, like, how would that be? And I started playing around in VR with ants and cubes, and, you know, that was interesting. I didn't take it very far, but you know, it's so easy to make stuff now. You know, if you got Unity and a VR headset, you know, it's a piece of piss, really. And there's so many assets on the asset store. You know, I built some cubes. So I did something. I thought, all right, we've got Antitype's city here. I downloaded an ant, beautifully modeled, you know, from the asset store. Put on the goggles beside me, that's the size of a small dog. This could possibly be quite scary.
Okay, it will be also interesting. I mean, we are all Spectrum fans here, but we are also.
I'm sorry if I'm going off topic. We can.
No, we are really aware. I think really everybody has. I don't know, a newer game console at home or a computer. So
we'll pick up a little bit later, I think, with the rest of that and the questions. The reason I was a bit distracted before is Simon Goodman had arrived and had set up his Next on the machine, on the desk next to us. We moved over some of the Gilsoft stuff, and let's take a little look at what was happening over there, and hopefully we'll come back to the rest of Sandy's conversation after.
Yeah, so these are the crucial ones. Those numbers there, magnifying glass. So there's your actual frame rate. So our VGA 6 is 59 Hz. 48.2. I know. Well, I just test everything in VGA 7 at the moment, just to make sure that it's going to frame out for other people.
And Pac-Man.
The green one, you've got to try and just to see if you're off.
Green, let's see how we can go in.
If you get kills, you have to much generate.
Is it running on Spectrum? It's running on one Spectrum, isn't it? How many frames are pick up 4 due to binary requirement, really. I get that.
That is the
Yeah, you can have a copy of this. You've got every card. And not run. Skip those lines. Now, I mean, some of them aren't going on very interesting paths. You can still see that one is just creeping slowly down. What's happening is the horizontal coordinate is stepping very slowly through the table, whereas the vertical coordinate it's got a stride of, I don't know, 15 or 20 or something, so that's why it's going up and down much faster than it's moving across. But and that one's under mass control.
Do we try to get Pac-Man?
Yeah.
We try to avoid
If I did, it'd probably be well.
Trying to get me, but when I get...
Well, I like to see the video edit bars up to about 27 minutes, and we've pretty much got to lunchtime, so I think we'll finish off with a quick view of the scene wide spin. We'll have to join up in part 2 to catch the rest of Sandy's talk and a good look around the stands and some other sights and sounds coming soon to your YouTube.
I'll be sort of out and then back again. I've got messages in yet, and you're doing shopping. It's getting all the stuff
That's yeah, so I mean, I got